Here's another question that I think the three of us might be uniquely positioned to answer. As we may have mentioned in other communications, Lisa and Deb and I were all first trained as social workers, so we have a kind of lens that is looking at the culture, social justice, equity, parity, a number of things, into which our Jungian work was introduced in the development of ourselves as analysts. So this question comes to us. I'm beginning work on a project in Canada to address homelessness. What are the ways we can look at home and homelessness through Jungian lenses? Do you have experience with the homeless? What do the homeless have to do with us? I'm hopeful for insights to help people who've had the experience to heal. I also think there may be great strength from having survived it.
When I started social work training, way back in the mists of time, the very first paper I ever wrote about, I wrote about homelessness. It was so poignant for me that people didn't have a home. And I wanted to do a really terrific job on this paper. And I had not yet had any Jungian training, reading, studies, or anything. And what I'm thinking about is how I didn't realize that there was a homeless part of me that resonated. My own inner homeless person was deeply touched by the outer world homeless people that I saw. And I didn't make that connection with my own psyche, which is not at all to de-emphasize the poignance, the sadness, and the awfulness of people that really don't have a place to live. But I think we also have to look inside ourselves and see where that's located in us.
And I want to just jump in really quickly on that. I love what you said, Deb, and I think that it's true that it might be important for us to wonder about what we're projecting onto the homeless too. I think the homeless are a big carrier of shadow in our culture. I actually really love this question. I'm thinking we should do a whole episode on the archetype of home. And I also, perhaps this listener would even help us with this. We're developing a new series called Shadowlands, and I think we should maybe explore interviewing either a current or a former homeless person. So perhaps even our listener could help us put us in touch with someone who might be willing to be on a special episode of the podcast to talk about their experience being homeless.
Guys, help me out for a moment. Who was that Irish analyst who wrote a wonderful book on the signs and symmetries of belonging? We did that fairy tale work with him in a work in the retreat center.
John Hill.
John Hill writes about home. Yes.
And there's an elegant, deep book about home, and I believe it's called The Signs and Symmetries of Belonging. John Hill.
Okay, John Hill.
Really worth reading for this person to reach down into the deep archetypal movement of that energy, and how powerful it is to feel displaced, the energy of seeking home or being tossed out of home, the dissolution of home. It affects us very deeply.
Oh, that was a good call, Joseph, yeah.